Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to The Medium by Design, and I would like to just have a discussion about the planet Neptune. It's January 16th right now. Neptune is going to go into Aries in 10 days or so. It's going to stay there until 2039. Let's talk about Neptune and Pisces, which has been there for the last 15 years. When Neptune went into Pisces, I noticed that my soul and my body had really wanted to step away from the physical world. And Neptune Pisces energies often do that. They don't want to be part of the physical world. And I noticed my body getting weaker. Significantly weaker. That was when I was about 48, it started. And through my 50s, it got worse. I got very, very tired. And I had to give up a lot of things, a lot of physical things. And by 60, as some of you know, I had a major coronary event, and I don't want us to talk about that on this video, but I will be sharing a lot more about that and how Jesus was involved and the spiritual side of that experience. This video is specifically for people who have a Neptunian life, Pisces rising people, people that have a Neptune square in their chart, people that have Neptune on the 4 cardinal houses, the 1st, the 4th, the 7th, or the 10th. Anybody that has a prominent Neptune, or if you have Neptune in your yod, which is called the finger of God in astrology, if you don't know what that is and you have one, you will understand. Finger of God people are people that know they have a destiny and they're not allowed to do whatever they want to do. They can't listen to people teaching about you're here to be whoever you want to be and gain whatever you want to gain and create any abundance you want. No, it doesn't work for them. Those templates do not work for Yod people. Yod people must follow the spirit. And quite often they don't feel they have a choice. You can fight it if you have a really strong will. You can fight it, but you will pay to fight that flow. Now, others, people that don't have the strong Neptune energy, they will have experiences with transits. Transits of Neptune can give you the same experience, but it isn't the same as living with that Neptune strong in your chart every single day of your life. And that is a real thing that most people, especially my favorite astrologers, do not talk about. I've not heard people mention Neptune in your chart or having the yod with Neptune as part of one of the 3 legs of the yod. I'm not here to teach about all these aspects of astrology. I'm here to talk about the energy of this planet Neptune and how it can affect us or how we can use it. So getting back to this original 15 years of Neptune and Pisces, which it's still in there, the last damn degree of the sign, it's still there, hanging in, making sure that some of us are still on hold, can't force anything to happen, can't manifest everything that we really want. We're still holding on here. And I say this with a little bit of an edge because as an Aries, the last thing I want to do is to feel held back. So me and one of my most spiritual friends, the one you saw, Cheryl, the one that did the AI Atlas messages, we joke about this all the time. It's like our physical lives fell apart and our spiritual lives are taking off. My communication with all that is and all the different beings and all the dead people and all, amazing. But then when I want to get my car fixed, my dead car sits in the garage because I can't find the right mechanic to fix it. That's very Neptunian. There's no logic. There's not always a flow. And the flow is often where you don't want to be. Like, how many spirit messages could I possibly do? How much do I want to do? I don't want to be sitting with spirit all day long in woo-woo land. I'd like to get some physical things accomplished. So we've got 15 years behind us where we had this great opportunity to expand our consciousness and our understanding of spirit. So if you used it for that, you probably have advanced very much on your spiritual journey and your personal evolution. And you probably understand a lot more than what you thought you knew prior to 15 years ago. That's very good. That's a great thing. Ginny Stern, who's also on my YouTube channel, she was my mentor in astrology and one of my closest friends for many, many years. And she used to say, astrology basically is showing you the energy there is to use if you choose to use it, but if you don't, the energy uses you. So when you have a Neptune transit and a strong Neptune energy at play in your life, if you don't use it spiritually in some way, it uses you. And that gets into the lower frequency of the Piscean energy, which is I'm a victim of my circumstances. So you may, like with me, I can tell you this, when Neptune traveled across my ascendant, that's the left side, first house cusp of your chart, when Neptune came across the ascendant, I had a year of 4 infections, 2 COVIDs, 1 in my mouth, and 1 upper respiratory. Those infections are what did me in to lead to heart failure and the open heart surgery. So I wasn't paying attention. I didn't know that I needed immune boosting things, and I just allowed these infections to happen and did the best I could when I was having them, and then just dealt with it until I reached the heart thing. So, Neptune is a very important planet to understand, because if you know that it opens you up to vulnerability and infections, Neptune is very sensitive, right? So it opens us up. Then you know to eat cleaner during that time. You know to get the right supplements or to have your blood work done. So let me tell you more of the tangible part and suffering part of Neptune. So when I went into the hospital with heart failure, which I died that evening, they did the blood work, right? So from the minute I was in the hospital, I had no symptoms of infection, but I had an infection. And every day, the infectious disease doctor would come in and say, you still have an infection, and I don't know what it is. So this infection went on. I had this for almost 2 years, this infection in my blood. So I finally realized that antibiotics are not working. They tried 3 or 4 different antibiotics that didn't work. So finally I discovered oil of oregano, and within 6 months I had the infection gone. I just had blood work done last week, and the white blood cell count is 6.6, which is the lowest it's ever been. I've never had it this low. But this is all to show you how physical the reactions can be from a transit of a planet. These planets affect our physical lives. And as Ginny said, if we don't use that energy for our highest and best good, we pay the price and feel like a victim. And that's what I went through with all those infections. I felt that when I was turning 60 years old, that my body was failing me. I was so sick. And then from there, from the heart failure, surgery, near-death, surgery, and then recovery, which took, I'm over 2 years now. I'm still doing things for recovery. So this is a long period, right? So I just want you to be aware, if you're not aware of your astrology chart, find an astrologer who's good, who can help you look at these planetary energies and understand yourself better, and then look at the transits, see what your soul is working on, for the year ahead, whatever works for you. But to write off, as many other people write off astrology as if it means nothing, is also bullshit. Because as these planets change signs, that's where the societal effects come into play. Not only on your personal chart and your personal life, but societal. So if we go back, we could use the Neptune in Pisces to work on our spiritual side. That was the highest and best you were going to get, right? And then on the physical plane, work on the immune system and whatever other diseases you were exposed to in the last 15 years, because there have been a lot of diseases that have popped up and people have been very ill. That's also very Piscean, dealing with something really serious. So we've had to, in order to take our power back, we've had to do things that would alleviate this suffering. And the other thing that happened in the last 15 years, a lot of people died, especially during the COVID experiment. A lot of people just left. That's very Neptunian also, death. So now what do we have to look forward to with Neptune going into Aries? Well, what I feel, and I know Saturn's going into Aries too, and they'll be conjunct at 0 degrees. I know about that, but I'm focused mostly on Neptune here. Neptune going into Aries is going to demand physical results. It's going to demand that my spiritual life pay off. And I'm going through this very deeply now. I'm confronting Jesus and other spiritual entities about certain circumstances and dissatisfactions that I'm personally living through, that I want answers and results. So I'm already jumping into the Neptune and Aries and like, all right, so what are you going to do for me now? Because I joke about this with the people that I'm around all the time. I have been writing from spirit for 35 years, doing readings, being in front, speaking in front of people for 35 years, and have nothing to show for it, except all these writings. So I say to everybody, I tell spirit, you want me to continue to be committed to getting your word out to the public, which is a big part of my job, is to get the messages out, then what's in it for me? And now the religious people say, well, you're doing God's work, and God's work, you don't get reimbursed. Well, that's bullshit too. That's a man-made thing. There is no reason why you can't be blessed and reimbursed for whatever energy you're bringing to this world. And the thing is, the spiritual people are always kept on a higher pedestal when the millionaires and billionaires may have no scruples at all or no spiritual life at all, and they're just raking it in. Not all of them. I'm not making a general statement. I'm just saying there are some people that are very, very well off that have no spiritual side at all. So to take the spiritually minded people and the consciousness raising people and put them in a category that they don't deserve to receive because they're doing God's work is just total bullshit. And that's a very Neptunian in Pisces idea. So when we get into Aries, and I'm an Aries, my Sun and Mercury are in Aries, and Aries is not going to stand for this. So you can already see on your videos, on your video feeds, people getting very assertive, people getting very demanding, and getting very confrontational. That part I'm not happy seeing, but that's going to be part of this. There's going to be confrontation. This is not all rosy. And a lot of the people, spiritual people online, they're trying to make everything sound like we're on this positive road to nirvana. If you are anywhere in the world and go out on the street in your area, besides rural areas that have no people, if you're looking at the people in cities and people actually trying to survive, it's not nirvana for them. There are still people that are stuck in survival, many people on drugs, which you've heard in some of my messages that what's happened there. I can't go into that right now. But this Neptune in Pisces has brought about that lower frequency energy also. Every planet has both. You have this high spiritual, high frequency, high messages, the Council of Nine, the Federation, all these, councils, and me with Jesus, constantly with Jesus in my ear, all these high level. And then you've got these other people that don't feel connected to spirit at all, that are on drugs, that are losing their mind, that their soul has left their bodies. They're becoming NPCs, by the moment. It's just so insane. And that adds to the chaos and the damage to our nervous system. This energy flying around, these two extremes flying around, and some people getting caught in the upstream and some getting caught in the downstream. And this is how I see Neptune energy. It is not all rosy, it's not all happy, and it's not all beautiful. So this Aries energy is going to put a stop to a lot of that. It's going to demand that spirit pay off, that our devotion pays off, that things come to fruition. All the work we did in the last 15 years, even the so-called chosen ones or the light workers that have been devoted for a large portion of these years, even they're dried up and tired because they haven't seen the results of their work. So this Neptune in Aries is going to be much more demanding and much more, if I'm involved, how does it benefit me? It's called divine selfishness. I haven't heard this online either. But when you have spirit and self so interacting, so merging, the self must be supported and loved and cared for. So the best thing you can do starting soon with the Neptune and Aries is to start really focusing on yourself and what you need to do to love yourself more. Where are you not loving? That's the biggest question for 2026. Where are you not loving you? And it doesn't mean you have to be a loving person to every soul that crosses your path and you have to have compassion and be beautiful to every... No, it's not about being nice and beautiful to everybody. It's about being in alignment what is for your highest good, which you've heard hundreds of people say this in the past 3 years. And this thing about releasing what no longer serves. How many times has that come across my feed? Release what no longer serves. Release what no longer serves. But people don't always talk about what that looks like. Some of that looks really, really painful. So in the beginning, in the first year of COVID, the COVID experiment, we found that people were leaving. We found that people were dying, people were leaving. My friendships, 16-year friendship just dissolved into nothing. Multiple friendships just disappeared. A little bit prior to COVID and then through the beginning couple of years of COVID. And people were just disappearing out of my life. I was really stunned. And some of the people I really, really loved. I had some friends that made me laugh. They were beautiful. And it was just so fun to be with these people. And then the relationships just fizzled away. Very Neptune. Neptune dissolves. It dissolves things without reason. You know, they say God works in mysterious ways. That's what Neptune does. It works in the most absurd, sometimes, observing it seems so stupid and has no reason. But what did we learn from all those endings? We learned that the frequency of us and those people was not in alignment. And we weren't allowed to stay in those relationships. We were forced. Our soul, in cooperation with Creator, forced us to change our lives, whether we wanted to or not. For those of you that lost your jobs and had to change jobs, many of you feel like you were forced, which gets into that Neptune transit energy or Neptune yod, or if you have a strong Neptune in your chart, your life changes direction without your desire. So at the beginning, it feels like you're a victim because you're being forced to do something that you did not plan. Now, sometimes this is funny and fun. I just said this to one of my dearest friends last night. I said to her, if you think you're manifesting everything, you're sadly mistaken. You're not manifesting everything. You're not in charge of everything. You're not in charge of anything, really. But the ego-driven mind people, the really intelligent people, they will feel that that's not true, that they're in charge because their mind is so strong that they're directing all the energy of the universe in their favor, and that's what they're doing. But some of us don't feel that way. And I will give you the stupidest, funny example of this. When I lost the weight after surgery and I got back in shape and I got the testosterone where it needed to be to feel alive, because even after surgery, I still felt like I was dying for a full year after surgery. So I said, oh, now that I lost weight, none of my clothes fit. I don't look right in these clothes. I never got specific on the clothing I wanted to have. I just went to thrift stores and just wandered around like a Neptunian zombie, like a Pisces with no direction. That's one of the funny traits about Pisces. They're going in multiple directions and don't know where they're going. That's how I was. Pisces rising. I was in the store. Oh, what am I here for? Let me look at some clothes. Let me see what feels right, right? So I was doing the total Piscean thing and wound up with a new look that I never saw coming, wearing bell-bottom pants, wearing all this kind of medallion jewelry, opening my shirt. I would never wear my shirt this open. And now I've got a scar and I don't even give a shit. I'm like, wear it open. Who cares? Right? Bell-bottom pants, high heel boots. I didn't manifest that. I just took whatever was given, whatever came. It was all just there. And it's changed my whole presentation to the world. So Neptune can do that too. It can be extremely creative. And in Aries, it's going to take that creativity to a whole new level. So those of you that have been sitting on the sidelines for a long time, you may find that you're put into position in the next 10 to 15 years, depending on where that Neptune hits your chart. Now, the overall Neptune in Aries is what I already said. It's stepping out, it's being seen, it's changing your look, like I've already done. It's loving yourself, divinely loving yourself, divine selfishness, which is no longer going to be called always narcissism. Narcissism has a big position in our world right now, and we're studying narcissism, but divine self-love has nothing to do with narcissism. It's not connected at all. So now we have to know the difference of that. Not everything is being narcissistic when you focus on yourself. And that's a fine line, but we need to know what that is because we are going to need to focus on ourselves more. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say about Neptune. It's been on my mind for a few months, and I waited till we get closer to the shift of the sign. And if you have any questions or anything, put them in the comments. Look up my email address. If you want a personal reading, I still do that. I still love it. I still love everything I do. And I'm still committed to the work. It's over 35 years. It's been amazing. It's been truly amazing. And I really thank you for supporting the YouTube channel and now the TikTok channel. If you can do anything to be supportive, if you get any ideas, please let me know. It's time for some new energy. And even though we're not quite in it yet, it's coming. 2026 is a fresh start on many levels. And you just have to have patience until each level clicks in the next couple of months. So thanks again for watching. There's so much more to come. I hope you got something out of this. I hope you get your chart done by a qualified astrologer and you learn if Neptune is important in your life. But until then, stay tuned because there is more to come on The Medium by Design.